Okay, so this world is controlled and populated by different types of humans and different types of human-like entities, shall we say. There's a percentage of what I'd call humans. They're like 100% human beings, right? They're not possessed by any other type of thought or mind control or possession of any sort. They can be, however, misguided, as we all are. In other words, they can believe wrong things due to false information. This is a problem. But they're generally open to the truth. And if they see the truth, if they were really given it, they would be wide awake and see everything that is going on around them. They would be aware. And they would know what was good, what was bad, what was right, what was wrong, even though this also, as I've said before, is used against spiritual human beings, almost a warfare to control them and to influence them. Because once you start operating too much in that good, bad, right, wrong mindset, you're creating conflict with yourself and with other human beings. And this is bad energy. This is negativity. And this creates a negative world because, as I said before, we're spiritual beings. The whole world is really spiritual, but we are deceived into thinking that it is a physical world because we're spiritual beings in a physical body. And then that becomes our domain to where we think that is all we are. And we lose sight of the truth that it's the other way around. We're really totally spiritual. The body is, the physical is merely what we create with our thinking, what we bring into being, and what we use as a vehicle while we are in this very low kind of frequency domain on this planet. In other words, the lower your frequency, from what I can gather, that means the lower you think negative, or you're not really happy and not at peace and not in a state of bliss, shall we say, that is the more dense and more physical the reality becomes for you. So you get more into it instead of the opposite, where you should become lighter and away from it, you know. And we all know what that's like. We know how we feel sluggish and lethargic and as though we're carrying the weight of the world on us. And this is because this is not really a natural state for us. I know that the society we live in will give you a physical explanation for this, right? They will say, oh, well, perhaps you're like myself, a little bit heavy, perhaps perhaps you didn't look after yourself, all this, and there's truth to that, but that is not still the true picture. But at any rate, like I was saying from the start, there's different types of human beings. By that I mean that all human beings look the same. But you know yourself, just because someone looks the same doesn't mean that they are the same as you. They have different personalities, different vibrations, different states of compassion, understanding of others and the natural world, all that sort of thing. Those that are more in contact with the natural world and with animals and others are a little bit more in touch with their true spiritual self, shall we say. Whereas once you separate too much from nature and go too much into technology, you are getting away from your natural state of spiritual being. And this is the world that we live in now, because it is very much dominated in the physicality and with technology. But anyway, there are different types of human beings, as I say, because of this, because of the different levels that they react with living things, shall we say. The less you relate to living things, and I would say that at the present time, this planet is at a low level that way in general. This is not always even our fault because, like I say, there's a certain percentage of very human beings, but even they are very much forced into the physical reality just to survive, like to make a living and day-to-day life. So even they are not exactly going to be sitting under a tree and meditating like a Buddha or something, you know. So this is the thing. And also, it is almost impossible to do that if you live in the city because there is so much chaos, so much noise, so much stress and so much activity going on around you that you need a peaceful environment even to get into a peaceful frame of mind. And the world we live in now, with it being city inclined as opposed to country and nature, is not conducive to a peaceful state of mind. So even humans have difficulty being in their true spiritual state. And I know that certainly applies to myself, and I know it's almost impossible to raise yourself up against the environment, particularly if you don't have a lot of support either, and if you find that you do get negative by seeing this activity, and then you find it hard to have the compassion and the understanding that's necessary to override the human condition almost, shall we say, because if even humans get into a bad state of mind, negative way of thinking because they are so pressed by the environment and they believe all the negative stuff they hear and see around them, then that makes even someone that, like myself, that is trying to show some sort of understanding to this situation, it becomes very hard. It almost, becomes a contradiction, and you also then will be down as well. But anyway, I'll try to get back without rambling on too much about myself. There's humans, that by that I mean that are spiritual beings, but they're not overly obsessed with the physicality. You can still be physical because you have to be.